You're probably here because you saw the thumbnail and the title of this video, and you are probably correct because I went undefeated at my local OTS store going 4-0 with Orcust. Now, this is a deck that I've highly loved since 2018 into 2019, and it has, I think, the most playtime of a deck I've ever had because I played it all the way into 2022, 2 years after Orcust Harpora got banned, and then played something else when Paper Play returned because the deck was not that good to compete against that current lineup decks that were out around the time, like Branded Despia and even Adventurer Piles. But honestly, I really enjoy the deck and I love the deck so much that I had fun with it. And here are my matchups before we get into the deck profile. Round 1, I went up against Dark Magician Azamina. Round 2 was Mermail Atlantean Ice Barrier. Round 3 was Branded Despia. And round 4 was Ex's Sister, losing 3 die rolls and dropping 3 games from round 2 to round 4 and still managed to clean up the matches. Now let's get into the deck profile and let's talk about my deck choices and all that. But whenever I go through and make a deck, I look at other things that would inspire me of some choices. But with Orcust, it came naturally with how much playtime I had with it, especially recently on Master Duel. So first off, of course, we have the 3 Kirsu, the Orcust Mech Knight. On summon, it allows you to send 1 Orcust or World Legacy card from the deck to the graveyard, and if it's the only monster you control, you can summon out a token to each player's field. Overall, this is really powerful for shutting off cards like the Molcharmies and even Infinite Impermanence, Evenly Matched, and so many other cards. And honestly, it is a really great starter because it allows you to send a copy of Orcust Harpora from your deck to the graveyard. Now, Harp Horror happens to be one of the best cards in the deck because it was banned for a time, because it allows you to banish it from the graveyard to summon out an Orcust monster from your deck, but it locks you into dark monsters until the end of the turn, like the other main deck Orcust names. And speaking about the other names, we have the 1 Orcust Nightmare, which is a foolish burial for the deck by targeting a monster, and that target gains 100 attack times the level. You have the 1 Symbol Skeleton, which is a monster reborn for the deck. And then we have the 1 World Wand, which allows you to reborn something that's banished. Overall, these are the centerpieces of the Orcust engine, and I would have not changed any of these at all. I maybe would have upped Symbol Skeleton to 2, but it is what it is. It is one of the weaker starters of the deck. Now, we do have another World Legacy card that was entered into here, being the World Legacy World Crown. This card has not left the deck since I did get into the national event through the LCQ because Orcust happens to be one of the most reliable decks that I could play. This card is really powerful because you can summon it to a zone a link monster points to, and if a monster from the extra deck is special summoned from it that activate its effects, you can tribute this card, negate the activation, and destroy it, being good to go against a lot of your decks like the Exorcister matchup that I had, and even against Branded as well. So overall, really powerful card, and I really played so much of it. And for the roundup of the Orcust cards, we have Orchestrated Babel, which allows you to make all your Orcust monsters a quick effect on the field in graveyard, and also on top of that, if it's in the graveyard except the turn it was sent there, you could discard a card to add it back to your hand, but you're probably never going to do that. We also have the 1 Orcust Crescendo, which is the Omni Negate of the deck, and also you can either activate the other effect by banishing it from your graveyard to search out a Dark Machine from your deck to your hand, and it locks you into Dark Machines for the rest of the turn, and that only comes up for turn 3 if you want to close out the game. Then finally, the Honorary Orcust card, a copy of Foolish Burial. Sends any monster from the deck to the graveyard, gets your Harp Horror, gets your Nightmare, gets your Symbol Skeleton, gets anything that you really need, which is really good. And what was the supplemental engine that I played? Well, it's really good right now, and even in Master Duel, it's powerful. The Sinful Spoil package. Now, I'm running 3 Bellstar because it sends a card from the deck from the hand to the graveyard, and allows you to send a Sinful Spoil spell from your deck to the field, and this allows you to get things like your Deception of the Sinful Spoil, a copy of Wanted to the graveyard, or even a card that I currently play in my side deck. And of course, 3 Wanted, because it is another copy of Bellstar, And you can banish this card from your graveyard to target a world or a Sinful spoil spell or trap in your graveyard, put it to the bottom of the deck to draw 1. And honestly, being able to just draw a card off of that to fill up your hand for Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is extremely powerful. We have 3 Deception of the Sinful Spoil, tribute a monster to add a Azamina spell or trap from the deck to the hand, and also during the end phase, if this card was sent there this turn by a card effect, you could set it to your field. And another hidden effect that people don't really trigger that much, if you control an Azamina monster and a monster is sent to the opponent's graveyard, you could make your opponent take a 1500 life points and then you gain 1500, so it could close out the game faster. And that's an effect that I forgot quite a bit about, so that I need to remember that for future reference. Then for the other spell cards, we have the one Hallowed Azamina, allowing you to summon out your level 6s by revealing a single one, because it rounds up, along with a copy of Debaters, because it's really useful against something of a small Charmy. So if you go Hallowed Azamina, reveal, they go Charmy, you activate this, and then you send that, making the Hallowed Azamina really don't do anything to summon out your Sylvia. That's completely fine. And to round out the engine spells, we have the one Gaze at Timaeus. Now, after I searched this in one match, my opponent trolled me, and it really didn't matter, because this deck doesn't really search outside of Wanted in the draw phase, and maybe the Hallowed Azamina. But once I got to here, I was completely safe. After that, we have the non-engine, being the hand traps. Most notable, 3 Ash Blossom. Everyone should be on this card because of how powerful it is. 3 Ghost Spell, because a lot of decks want to use the cards from the graveyard by returning them back from the grave to the deck, adding them back to hand, banishing them for effects. But this really does quite a lot, especially against Dracotail, and even against Raiden Typhoon Mandate. They attempted to shuffle 3 back from the graveyard. You could just hit them with a Ghost Spell, and they cry a little bit. Next up, we have one of the other best hand traps in the format, being Molcharmy Fuelos. A lot of decks want a special summon from the deck and extra deck, so might as well play this. And to complement it, we do have the 2 Perulia, which definitely came up against the Mermail player, the Exorcist player, and the Dark Magician player. So 3 of the 4 matchups. Then after that, we have the 3 Dominus Impulse, one of the best hand traps in the deck, because you're playing all dark and all fire, and really, this card just does so much. It's absolutely insane that it's still legal at 3. If your opponent activates a card effect that would special summon a card, activate it, cool. And if you have a trap card in your graveyard, it is destroyed, and that would be Imperm. Imperm really overperformed, and it is definitely a powerful card still, and pairing it with any of your Dominuses is really great. Now, for in the future, Dominus Spark does get added to the deck because it is a very good card by targeting a monster your opponent controls to banish it. So what you probably will do is lead with Imperm, then go the Impulse, then go the Spark. So if you have any other hand traps in your hand, like Ash Blossom or even Ghost Spell, you could sequence it like this and just go for whatever. One of my hands literally had something on the lines of this plus a harp, so I had everything against Exorcister if they wanted to play the game. And drawing into 3 hand trap and 2 engine, or 3 engine and 2 hand trap, really is amazing. And especially if it's a Fuelos or a Perulia, you could just discard it off of Dibelstar or Galatea. So there's that. Now we have the one Dingrisu, the Orcust Evening Star. This is a really powerful card because you could use 4 of your 5 Orcust Link monsters as an Exceed material. And on summon, you can use one of the other effects to either send a card your opponent controls to the graveyard that isn't targeting, and being able to attach a banished machine monster to it as a material. And during the time a card is destroyed, you get attach the material instead, which I used against Mirror Jade, because Mirror Jade loves to destroy during the end phase, and this just invalidated it. This card invalidating destruction since 2019, back with an instant fusion window, so nothing really changes. The one Inlo Grisu, this card's great for interruption, as if you have the Babble out, you could use the effect to target a banished machine monster, add it to your hand, and if you want to, you could shuffle back a card from your hand to take control of a monster your opponent controls. That really came up, and if they get rid of it off the field, you could banish it from your graveyard, and then you could just send a card from the field to the graveyard. So another form of interruption on a Link 4 is really powerful. And if it's in your graveyard, you can Simple Skeleton back, but if you banish it, you can just wand it back, which honestly is absolutely crazy that you could do that. Now, we only really run this long Grisu to go into this with Link 1 and or another monster in this to go into your rank 4, but this still comes up as it shuffles 2 dark machines back into the deck, or 2 machine monsters I should say. So you can send 1 linked monster from the field to the graveyard. So if something's pointing to one of these zones, you just send it to the grave, and if it's linked to a monster, it cannot be destroyed by card effect, which is really good. Now, Galatea here, really powerful. If it's linked to something, cannot be destroyed by battle. You can shuffle one machine monster back into the deck, set a Orcust spell or trap card from your deck to your field. Being able to get to Crescendo or Babel is really powerful, and I definitely think that this card will stay as is at 2 copies per deck for the foreseeable future until they make a better Link 3 or maybe a Link 5. After that, we have the 1 Galatea. This card's also really broken because it either searches out a field spell or a World Legacy card. Being able to add from deck or graveyard to the hand by the cost of a discard is really good, and just getting Babel ASAP or your World Crown, absolutely amazing. Now, one of the things I do have is that if it's in the graveyard, banish a Orcust monster to summon it back, so it is absolutely brilliant of a card. Next, let's get into the Azamina side of things and the Dark Magician. We have the 1 Risalago. This card is absolutely brilliant because it allows you to add a simple spoil, spell, or trap from your deck to the hand, or Azamina card as well. Well, it adds a card, so you can add things like Queen Azamina or your Elzet Azamina White Forest, so there are other options. And one of the things that didn't come to mind but came up was if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add a simple spoil card from your deck to your hand. Even Sylvia has that. So they both share that effect. And with Sylvia, if your opponent activates a card effect, you contribute this, negate it, which is honestly crazy that you could summon both this and Dragoon before your 5th summon. And then we also have the 1 Dark Magician of Destruction. If you activate a spell card the turn, you can banish a level 6 or higher Dark Spellcaster from your field to summon this from the extra deck. On Fusion Summon, you get to add a card that mentions Dark Magician, which is going to be Gaze of Timaeus. And most of the time, your spell card that you're going to be activating is Wanted or Deception, so you can banish your Diabell Star to summon it. Now, with Gaze, you're going to target the Dark Magician Destruction, so you can summon out the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and realistically, absolutely amazing. Discard a card, negate and destroy a card, and if you destroyed it, it gains 1,000 attack. So it's going to be a 4k beat stick, and it could close out games really quick because on your turn, you're going to be negating something, your opponent's turn, you're going to be negating something, but because of Gaze at the end of your opponent's turn, it gets banished. So you have to really think on what to do for that. But outside of that, this deck has enough ramp up for the damage that it really doesn't matter if the Dragoon gets banished or not. Now for the generic cards, Borosword, still a super generic OTK machine. Pairing it with Dingirisu, you can attack with it, attack Ding, switch to defense to attack again for a total of 483 because it gains half the attack of the monster that you switch to defense. This came up twice, and it won me the game both times. After that, we have our IP targets, being Gorgon of Ziflania. Very powerful card because if you IP it, you summon it to whatever side that you need, and you lock out your opponent from activating those cards that it points to. After that, you have the 1 SP Little Knight. Very powerful. On Link Summon, if you use a monster used from the extra deck, you get to banish a card, and it locks you out of the battle phase for attacking directly, but that's fine. But this card did come up because you can go affect target itself and another monster on the field to banish them, so it's another form of interruption. Also with Gorgon, it gains the attack equal to the attack that monsters point to it. The 1 IP Masquerena, absolutely powerful. One of the things that I had to do for a combo is that I had to go IP into SP, SP effect banish, attack over something with the Galatea that I also had on field, and then use the SP and the Galatea to go into the Inlil Grisu. But honestly, it's combos like that solidify games, and this deck you really have to think of it far in ahead. But when we get WP Fancy Ball in the future, Typhon's getting taken out. I didn't summon it once, didn't need it, never needed it. And honestly, one of the things that I definitely don't enjoy running in the extra deck. Now onto the side deck. We have 2 Nibiru the Primal Being. Could be 3, but I decided just to run 2. This card's absolutely great, and I definitely think that this is going to be a card that a lot of people are going to be playing more as the format goes on. But with how many decks are turning into Dragoon, the Azamina stuff, it's definitely a choice for the side deck, along with Dinko Sekka. This is great against Dracotail and Radiant Typhoon, because they cannot set cards. Their monsters cannot activate for Dracotail to set from deck, and also they cannot activate any of their set cards as well. Now, against Radiant Typhoon, if they have their mandate face up, you just normal summon out this, and they can't do anything, which is absolutely amazing. Sure, it stops you from setting off a Galatea, but that's fine because most of the time you're going to be blowing out their back row with all your effects, and even pairing it with something like a Harpy's Feather Duster, which does come up. And for the final monster in here, we have the third Perulia. I didn't know what to put in, so I just decided, let's just do the third Perulia and just have 42 cards in the main instead, which really benefited me because that means the Perulias could be taken out for the Nibirus for an even trade, and if I needed to, the Perulia could go in for the Azamina Debaters. So it was just matchup dependent, and that's how most of the side decks are. Like Forbidden Droplet, this card's absolutely amazing against Raging Typhoon. It's also really good against Vanquished Soul, because I could just pitch multiple pieces and just go to town after negating like 3 cards, but I have to worry about the attributes that they have in their hand. Now, after that, we have 3 Lightning Storm. I'm tempted of just putting it down to 2 and playing something like a Raigeki or a Triple Tactics Thrust instead, so I could search out specific normal spells or traps if I need, but it is what it is. This came up twice, and both times it worked out well. Then we have Harpy's Feather Duster. Absolutely powerful card, and honestly, I definitely recommend playing it in the side deck no matter what. Same with a copy of Talents, because honestly, being able to either take control, draw 2, and get free knowledge from your opponent, and ripping a card out of their hand is absolutely crazy still, and should be forbidden. One interaction that happened is that my opponent activated their Exo Sister Elise after it was impermed on complete accident, falling victim into the Talents. So that's one thing you have to be careful. If you're playing decks, if something's impermed, do not activate their effect. So that's one thing there. Then we have the one Called by the Grave. Absolutely amazing card, and really definitely something that I have to say came up quite a bit when I cited it in. I might play it over the Azamina Debaters in the main deck and put in a third Dinko Sekka, but I honestly like it in the side deck because it's great for going first in game 3 or going first in game 2. And then finally for the last card, Sinful Spoils of Slumber Moran. This card's absolutely great, as you can just book a moon or special summon a monster on the field face down, and then if you control a level 5 or higher illusion, you could just reset it. So being able to do that, just have another chance at booking something is really powerful. And this has been the Orcust deck profile for March of 2026. I wouldn't have expected me playing this at all, and I definitely think I might play this for my regional coming up in April, but it really matters on what is reprinted in Rarity Collection 5, because so far things are looking nice for the set, and I cannot wait to see what is all going to be in there. But anyways, I've been BoltSpider. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Sorry it was long. It was definitely not supposed to be this long. But anyways, I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you all for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button, and make sure to hit the bell to get notified whenever I upload. I would also like to thank FGH for supporting the channel through the channel memberships, as it's only 99 cents a month, and you can also join my Discord server, which is down in the description of every video that I post. But anyways, I'll see you all in the next video, and goodbye.